executive session, and we did have matters arising from executive session. Waiting for some of our fellow council members to get back on the dais.
How are you? Okay. Really?
We're going to ask Mark to not make that motion. We're going to wait until. Yeah.
Okay.
Just tell Mark.
Okay. We have one item out of executive session. That is 6A. Do we have a motion?
Wait for the other two.
Yeah, we're still waiting.
Right now. It's on its way.
So we're not.
Madam Chair. Oh,
Let's wait for
okay.
Councilman Glover.
And Mr. Lawson.
And Mr. Lawson.
Who's gonna hand his out? That's fine. That's fine. Hand out, so I was like, oh, hand out his too.
Oh, Mr. McGowan's on. It's not on mute.
Thanks. Yeah, it was one thing. We only have one item out of executive session? No, sir. All right. Okay, everyone's present? All right. Under 6A, we do have, I'd like to entertain a motion regarding 6A.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that council not approve the settlement offer proposed by the plaintiffs in the litigation related to James Ware et al. Versus Beaufort County at this time, but authorize the county attorney and outside legal counsel to negotiate a settlement in accordance with the terms as discussed in executive session. If a settlement agreement is reached in accordance with the discussed terms, I authorize the administrator to execute the settlement agreement on behalf of the county.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Vice Chairman Tavernick. All in favor by show of hands. And that is unanimous. Thank you. And at this time, we will adjourn the caucus session, and we'll go right into
They need
5-minute recess, please.
5-minute recess before we start county council meeting, giving time for We have one council member. Time, we will call the County Council meeting of February 23rd to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. McKellen could not be here in person, so he has asked me to provide to you what he would have said. Dear wise and loving God, we thank you for your many and abundant blessings. We thank you for life itself and for the measure of health given to us to fulfill our duties. We thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing serious responsibilities. We ask that we, as a body, promote peace, order, and justice, and that you graciously grant this assembled body the wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, to have a sense of true needs of our citizens, to have a keen thirst of justice, to understand and clearly see what is good, fitting, and appropriate, to have the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, and to have personal peace in our lives and joy of our task. Finally, help us to ensure our deliberations here tonight benefit those who live and work in our extended community. In your name we pray.
Thank you. And this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
And
I'm going to second that, and I'm going to ask that we amend tonight's agenda.
I'll second the motion to amend.
okay, thank you. Go
I would
ahead.
like to amend the agenda to add an item, which will be now item number 15. And it will read, I move that the county council execute a letter of engagement to the law firm Howell, Gibson, and Hughes, PA, to provide legal representation and advisory services in connection with matters presented to or before county council, and that the point of contact will be the chair of county council.
Madam Chair, I'll reiterate that second on that one.
Okay. Do we want to add, we may need to add that there may be times that the county attorney would need to also, could you amend the amendment for that? We don't want to keep our county attorney from talking to our outside attorney if needed.
Oh, yeah, no, that is understood.
Understood, okay.
That is absolutely understood.
Okay, so that
It's
we
not
won't
in
need to.
place.
Okay, so we had a second. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That was not the original discussion that we had. So if that's the amendment, I will not support it. This is supposed to be a council for county council. So those lines of communication should go amongst council and through our chair, and if she's unavailable, our vice chair. So I guess I'm seeing a little gray area from the conversations we had previously.
And I would, so the chair can always direct them to speak to our attorney. I don't think it needs to be in the amendment. That's not what we discussed. This is our council attorney. And for the public, we've been talking about this, well, Mr. Passman said 7 years, but
Yep.
I know we've been talking about this for a couple of years, so there are times we may need outside counsel, so I would not add that to the amendment.
Okay, all right. Is that satisfactory at this time, the way it was read by Councilman Passman?
Originally, then I guess we're still going to discuss it when it is an item then? At item 15, we'll still have discussions?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so we have an amendment to the agenda to add item 15. Any further discussion at this point about the amendment? All in favor of the amendment to add item 15 by show of hands? And that is unanimous. Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from February 9th.
No, we have to approve the agenda.
Oh, we have to approve the
as
original
amended.
agenda. Yes, I have a motion
And
to
I will
approve.
make that motion.
All right,
to approve the
original agenda.
as amended.
And second?
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor of the original agenda as amended by show of hands? All right, and that is unanimous. Okay, minutes from, number 5, minutes from the February 9th, 2026 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second it.
Any discussion? Seeing none, by show of hands, approval of the minutes from February 9th by show of hands? And that is unanimous. All right, at this time, we're at administrator's report. Wait, did I forget? Oh, never mind. Administrator's report, yes.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Council. We have some recognitions this evening for some employees for longevity. I'd first like to invite Lieutenant Edwin Aiken to come up to the podium. So, Lieutenant Aiken is with the detention center. He's been there for 15 years. His career achievements include he joined the Beaufort County Detention Center in 2011. Over the course of his career, he quickly advanced to the ranks from Class 2 certification to Lance Corporal, Corporal, Sergeant, and ultimately training lieutenant, while earning multiple Supervisor of the Quarter recognitions along the way. Throughout his career, he has made significant contributions to the organization, demonstrating leadership, operational knowledge, and a commitment to public safety. His service reflects a lasting impact on the team, the community, and he's appreciated for his achievements and experience he continues to bring to the agency. So we have a certificate for you.
Quite impressive.
Thank you. Would you like to say something?
Nothing too much, really. I just thanks for the recognition, and I look forward to the next 10 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Janitha Padgett, Operations Lieutenant, Beaufort County Detention Center. We would like to recognize Lieutenant Padgett for 20 years of dedicated and exemplary service, beginning with her hire in 2006. Throughout her career, she has distinguished herself through professionalism, strong leadership, and a deep commitment to excellence, earning multiple recognitions, including Employee of the Quarter, Employee of the Year, and Supervisor of the Quarter. She has steadily progressed through key roles, most recently being promoted to Operations Lieutenant, while also furthering her education with an Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice. Throughout her career, she consistently served beyond expectations, gaining mastery across many facets of jail operations. Her broad knowledge, unwavering dedication, and proven leadership make her an invaluable and irreplaceable asset to the organization. So congratulations. And, some comments if you like.
Not much. I just want to say thank you for the recognition, and thank you to my BCD family and my husband, because I don't think I would have made it this long without them. Thank you.
Could he at least stand?
Okay, next we have Michael Brantley, who's our Building Services Director for 20 years of service. Over the course of 20 years with the county, Michael has earned 10 ICC professional certifications and held multiple positions within the Development Services Division. He began employment with Beaufort County in 2006 as a residential inspector. Since then, he has served as a commercial inspector, residential and commercial plans examiner, senior inspector, deputy building official, and now is the Building Services Department director. The Building Services Department oversees building permits, plan review, inspections, code enforcement, floodplain management, and business licenses. So congratulations. I'd like to make some comments.
Thank you for recognition. Yeah, I'm looking forward for the next 5 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, I'd like to invite our Assistant County Administrator, Audra Antonacci, forward for 25 years of service. So Audra began her career with the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office in January 2001 as a deputy sheriff and has since demonstrated an unwavering commitment to public service, advancing through code enforcement to become its director in 2011. In 2021, she was promoted to Assistant County Administrator, where she has become a pivotal and trusted member of the administration and executive team. Her 25 years of dedicated service reflect exceptional leadership, professionalism, and devotion to Beaufort County. I'd just like to thank you for my time here and your service as an Assistant County Administrator. So thank you.
Come on.
Got to be in the picture.
I just want to say thank you. I can't believe it's been 25 years. Thank you for the opportunity and the support you have given me. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. A true family of public service.
Yes. Next, we have Daniel Morgan, who's our Mapping and Applications Director and GIS Department for 30 years of service. So Dan has dedicated 30 years to Beaufort County, bringing a depth of experience and continuity that has greatly benefited the organization. As department head of the Mapping and Applications Department, he leads the county's GIS and Enterprise Information Systems operations, providing the data, mapping tools, and technical framework that support daily operations and long-term planning across departments. Through his collaborative partnerships, Dan has helped modernize the county's use of technology and ensure that information systems remain a strong and reliable foundation for service delivery to our workforce and community. So we thank you for your service. Congratulations.
Your spouse needs to come up, please. Please.
30 years has been great. Thank you so much. I've worked with many of you and been able to map, been through 3 censuses. I don't know if we'll make a 4th, but it's been really fun, and I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, that concludes our employee recognitions. I do have a few other updates for council and the public. Update on the Transportation Advisory Committee. The committee met on February 18th and began discussions regarding transportation-related projects For consideration for the referendum, the committee voted on a schedule of dates, times, and locations for future meetings, which has been published. At the meeting, our engineering director, Brian Bauer, gave a brief presentation outlining several traffic studies, the Low Country Area Transportation Study, LATS, that have been done and completed, and traffic studies also completed by Beaufort County. These studies will be provided to committee members to help determine project priorities and funding costs. The committee also requested the county provide a list of county-owned dirt roads and ones which have full right-of-way, a map of Jasper County projects, a copy of the presentation, 5-year resurfacing and dirt roads, and the county transportation chairman will present to the committee, and a review of whether sirens are allowed in a state code for transportation sales tax. The department will provide all this information back to the committee at its next meeting, which will be held Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, which is this coming Wednesday, from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Town of Port Royal, 700 Paris Avenue. The public is invited to attend that meeting as well. Next, we were notified late last week that Judge Richard Gergel dismissed the case of Pine Island Property Holdings, LLC, and Pine Island GC, LLC against Beaufort County and U.S. District Court of South Carolina. I just wanted to pass along thanks and recognition to our county attorney, Hulbert, and legal team, which includes the law office of Christy Scott, and Danny Crow of Garfield, and our Spruers, and each of the legal counsel representing the interveners in the circuit court. In dismissing the case, the U.S. District Court found that there was no longer a case or controversy since the plaintiffs withdrew their appeal in state court. The result is that the Beaufort County's cultural protection overlay remains in place, and the decisions of the Planning Commission and Beaufort County Council remain in place as well. Lastly, March 6th is Employee Appreciation Day. In honor of this, my plan is to reward each of the county employees with a 1-hour appreciation leave for them to use at their discretion the rest of the calendar year. So, pending any questions, that concludes my...
Any questions for our administrator? Yes, Councilman Reese.
I do, thank you. Mr. Moore, I think I gave you a little bit of a heads up before we started here tonight. York County, from where you came from, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago or so, a bunch of kids got together and they reached out to me and said they have a project that they're going to do a project. Clover Middle School, do you know that?
Yes.
They know of you pretty well as well.
Okay. Well.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to do a project, and I talked to Tab about this, being a lifelong educator, and I had a chance over the weekend to talk to Dr. Rodriguez as well, but they're going to do a project. Each of the groups have to pick my favorite town, and somehow these kids picked Hilton Head. And I'm pleased that they want to work with me on it, but I thought of you because that's your area, you and your wife and all, and what we've done here with schools, and Dr. Rodriguez, he's excited about it, so I'm going to meet with them on Friday. I'll get everybody up to speed, but you know, they're going to do a whole semester project on their favorite town, which is us, and I think maybe if we get an 8th grade class here to do something reciprocal for them, you can help with that, and I appreciate it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Councilman York?
Yeah, Mr. Moore,
Yes, sir.
I think that one of the things that came out of that meeting with the advisory committee for the referendum was that there will be 2 evening meetings, one south of the Broad, one north of the Broad.
Yes.
I want to make that announcement early. I have the dates. I can't remember the dates and stuff, but so that people who are working cannot make the meetings during the daytime at 1 o'clock, they'll have an opportunity to do so at that time. So I just want to make that.
Okay, I'll make it a
public
point to,
announcement.
at the next council meeting,
Thank
I'll
you.
provide that information.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for our administrator at this time? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we now have public comment. I will call people up in the order that they signed up. I'd like to read what we call our public comment Rules of engagement. Every member of the public who is recognized to speak shall limit comments to 3 minutes and observe the following protocol. Address the chairman, and in speaking, avoid disrespect to council and any personalities. Confine themselves to questions under the jurisdictions of the council, and be mindful and respectful of those who are present and others who might be watching on television. The first person to sign up is Mr. Robert New.
Good evening, Madam Chairperson. First, for the majority of council members who have stood by the CPO and the Gullah Geechee community, we thank you. This is a legacy issue, and you courageously stood by your convictions these past 3 years, notwithstanding the millions spent to convince you otherwise. You stood firm. You have our sincere gratitude. As mentioned, Judge Gergel dismissed the Goff developers' frivolous federal lawsuit. This after the state lawsuit was dropped by the developers. The purpose of the lawsuits was to give the developer leverage with counsel. This lawfare has now cost the taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. And rest assured, this lawfare is not going to end. These people are crazy, crazy rich. And still, after almost 4 years, the owner remains in hiding. We should all be asking why. Given that they now spent an unconscionable amount of money with multiple law firms to circumvent the CPO, it has to be readily apparent to anyone and everyone that this has been about the golf course from day one. The more houses threat was totally bogus. It's only about the golf course. Now in year 4, when elected officials say, I just want less houses and docks, it strains the credibility of the officials in question and insults our intelligence. It was a scam from the get-go, a big lie, and good people were duped. The head-scratcher is that some council members professing to be guardians of the taxpayer dollars still support this scam. They have openly encouraged and blatantly assisted this golf course developer in their never-ending quest to destroy the CPO. It has encouraged all this lawfare and needlessly cost those taxpayers a ton of money. Ultimately, whether it's now or 5 years from now, the solution is for the state to acquire the property. That is the compromise. The right people stand willing and able to make this happen. Given the crazy money spent, the developer is very unlikely to sell to a real housing developer. The hurdles would be enormous. And even if that did happen somehow, the additional 75 houses or so is still a far better alternative than the resort. Thus, the only logical buyer is the state. I urge council to pursue this option. Please form a committee. Should the seller refuse to sell, so be it. However, the message needs to be loud and clear. The use of frivolous lawfare as a negotiating tool will not work. They bought the property knowing full well a golf course is not allowed. They can keep spending millions, but our collective community will stand firm for as long as it takes.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Bill Reside. Am I pronouncing that right?
Perfect. Madam Chair and the council, thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Bill Reside. I'm from up the coast in Edisto Island, and I really appreciate this opportunity. In March, I will file for the United States House seat SC1, currently held by Representative Nancy Mace. I'll be seeking the Libertarian ballot line, and I'm making my way around the district to introduce myself, meet local leaders and constituents, and make sure that I understand what local issues have impact at the federal level. I'll stay in touch over the next 8 months, and I'm always available to hear from the folks in Beaufort County. And in closing, no matter how this election turns out, I personally appreciate what every one of you are doing to serve your county. I really appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Allison Davidson.
Good evening. My name is Allison Davido, and I am here to talk with you about the Human Services Department. I came to Beaufort, a South Carolina native. Jesse Jackson and I hail from Greenville, and I came here after many years as a federal employee to a beautiful part of the country. I'm glad to have been here, and I'm glad to have joined a faith organization, which sent me to find out how we could spend 25% of our budget. And I found the Human Services Department. It was a standing room only meeting with churches, with charitable organizations, with volunteers, led by two excellent people, Fred Lyda and Ben Boswell. I felt as I had found the answer to what this county needed. I was happy to participate in that before going on to other political issues. That was issue number one. The second one was when I was observing the county council, often in person, sometime in Zoom, and I saw the bombshell that was released last time, in which it was revealed that Human Services was going to be dissolved. It seemed to be almost a side issue affecting all these people. I'd never heard anything. I thought certainly there would be an uproar. And I believe that we have been beaten down so much by our own issues that we can't respond appropriately. Finally, I thought this cannot stand. So I went to a chat with the council and found 3 council people. And the one glowing part of that meeting was that I heard from a staff member from one of the charities. I was emotional, but she was factual. She spoke of all the things that they do. She gave a particular instance of a family with multiple needs, none of which, by the way, could be responded to by Nexus, the organization that apparently was going to get human services out of hot water. It wasn't going to happen. I hope that she and others will have a chance to come when this council holds public discussions pursuant to the approach of their 27 budget, because 3 groups need to be heard from. One, the staff from Human Services Department, an excellent group that's already apparently gotten their pink slips. Second, the volunteers who come from churches, from other organizations to pitch in. And third, and you won't hear much because they're too busy trying to keep their families together, from those who are recipients of the Human Services coordination, publicity, and care that this organization brings. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Elvio Tropiano.
Good evening, council members. Elvio Tropiano, and thank you for giving me the time this evening to speak. I know I spoke to you guys earlier, but wanted to get it on the record in front of all of council again. I'm talking tonight to provide clarity for the record about the federal court order that was issued and discussed by Mr. Moore. Just to set the record straight here, on Friday, as Mr. Moore said, a federal judge dismissed the Pine Island case on a technical jurisdictional ground called mootness. In plain English, that means that the court concluded in its own interpretation of that particular lawsuit, it did not have a live dispute that it could decide at the moment. The order focused on 3 conceptual applications from 2023 involving 3 6-hole golf courses. Those applications were denied in 2023 and have not been under county consideration since. This technicality was the basis for the procedural dismissal. That's it. That procedural point should not be confused with what, as Mr. New said, everyone has always known, that the intended development plan has been an 18-hole golf course for 5 years now. We've all been present at multiple different meetings with multiple different pathways being pursued for the same development, zoning map amendment, development agreement, beyond, all of which have been blocked and continue to be blocked by a specific ordinance, mainly the CPO. So please don't be misled in the news articles or the 9 million emails that you guys get. This dismissal was not a decision on the merits. It was not a judicial endorsement of the ordinance. The judge did not rule that the CPO is valid, constitutional, or lawful. He did not approve the county's position on the merits, nor mine. The judge did not decide the core legal questions, and those questions remain unresolved. We're in the process of correcting the technical issue identified by the court, and we will be refiling our case based on the continuing impacts of the CPO and the county's subsequent actions. I also understand that other property owners and residents are increasingly examining the broader effects of the law, the CPO, and their own legal options. Finally, as I've stated before, Ms. Howard, Madam Chair, I would respectfully request just a public correction. You were quoted in the press saying that the court basically upheld that the CPO is valid in the exercise of transparency to the public. That's not what the order says. I ask that you clarify it publicly that the court did not rule on the CPO's validity at all, so that the community receives accurate information. That's very important. To be clear, this is about accuracy. The CPO was not validated by a court. The merits were not reached, and the dispute is certainly not over, unfortunately. As I've said many times before, ensuring that accuracy is found is essential, particularly on matters of significance to this county and to this council and to myself. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Stu Reidman.
Madam Chair, pleasure to be with you and council people. Schematic coming around. I want to speak to you on the bridges and the referendum. We know that the most significant problem by far is the workforce transportation, getting the workers to the workplace. The two major issues are 170 and the bridges. I believe that the referendum will fail unless both of those are solved. Senator Davis and I collaborated after the last referendum failed, and the outcome was that he was very successful in keeping the $120 million from the State Infrastructure Bank, and we put in place taking the money we had and building as much as we could. It was a good outcome. Fortunately, there was enough money such that when the bridge is built, when the westbound is built, if it ever is built, there's 4 lanes, 2 in each direction. But there's no funding for that westbound bridge. Proposal is to add 2 lanes, and you can see it on the schematic, and then you would take the 2 existing bridges, keep one of them to get to Pinckney Island, and in the course of destructing the other bridges, you would keep just enough, if you wanted to, for a pathway which many people in the community want. Fortunately, if you look at what has happened leading up to the beginning of the bridge project, the engineers correctly looked at the growth of traffic, and it was increasing. Since that time, it has leveled out. The last 6, 7, 8 years, it's leveled out. The peak is declining. The advantages of what we have in front of us is single span, eliminate the intersection, 50% increase. You get the 2 things that the referendum was created for before, which is safety and reduced congestion. You get the aesthetics of a narrow bridge, which is extremely important to the people on Hilton Head. You get the pathway, if that's what many of the folks want. We minimize the risk of being on borrowed time, of some of the bridges getting either shut down by DOT or having a catastrophic event. And most importantly, we eliminate the need to ever have to come back and do a westbound bridge, whether or not it be 300 or 600 million. So, the investment here, widen it, eliminate the intersection, a relatively small amount of money, probably less than 5% of what's in the referendum. It's not a tax increase, it's an allocation within the referendum. And so it's a credibility and a referendum issue. Do we spend $300 million, end up replacing one defective bridge, and with no real improvements in deterioration in safety and that? Or do we invest a relatively minor amount of money
Thank you, Mr.
and
Rodman.
solve the problem?
Thank you.
Do think about it from a credibility and a referendum standpoint. Thank you for your time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next is Matthew Sweeney.
Good evening, Chairman Howard, members of County Council, and Administrator Moore. My name is Matt Sweeney, and I'm the chairman of the Board of Voter Registration and Elections. This evening I have 4 of my fellow board members, if I could ask them to stand up. We are here to do something not done since 2013, and that is to introduce a new director of the Voter Registration and Elections Department. With about 140,000 registered voters, Beaufort County is the 9th largest county in South Carolina by that metric. In 2024, roughly 105,000 voters cast their ballots in Beaufort County, representing about 62% of our county's adult population. That level of engagement is only possible with countywide community support. Our professional staff of 11 expands on Election Day to hundreds of poll workers. In November 2024, more than 800 citizens staffed 126 precincts. We're grateful for their commitment to training and long Election Day hours. And on behalf of the board, I want to thank County Council for approving the $100 poll worker supplement that began in 2024. I cannot think of another activity sponsored by Beaufort County that employs as many as 800 citizens at one time and engages 100,000 residents voluntarily for a single event. With that context in mind, our board took very seriously the responsibility of selecting a new director. Before speaking about the future, however, I want to acknowledge the staff who came before the new director. Their dedication built the foundation on which our election operations stand today. The professionalism, institutional knowledge, and commitment of this team have served Beaufort County well, and we're grateful for that service. At the same time, every organization benefits from fresh leadership, renewed energy, and a clear vision for improvement. Ms. Jean Felix represents that next chapter. The board was impressed with her communication skills, enthusiasm for public service, and commitment to election integrity and continuous improvement. As outreach coordinator, Jean strengthened poll worker training, helped develop an excellent poll clerk program, and led recruitment, scheduling, and training efforts across the county. Jean understands the board's vision for a high-performing department and has already begun implementing it. Under her leadership, operations will emphasize professional management, accountability, robust processes, and effective communication. Respectfully, this will not be business as usual, but rather business done deliberately, collaboratively, and with continuous improvement in mind. Jean is committed to strong partnerships with the County Administrator's Office, the State Election Commission, and the hundreds of citizen poll workers who make elections possible.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney.
Okay. On behalf of the board, I'd like to introduce our new director, Ms. Jean Felix.
And she is next on our list for public comments. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman and Council.
It's shorter.
Thank you for allowing me this time to speak to you. Some of you know me or have met me, and while others don't, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Currently, we have a lot going on. As he mentioned, Beaufort County is booming at a rapid rate, and it's going to continue to do so. Our early voting centers typically are housed at USCB on Hilton Head, the Bluffton Recreation Center, our main office at John Galt Road, and the St. Helena Library. Currently, we are in negotiations to replace 2 of those early voting centers. We have not yet done so, but the Beaufort Early Voting Center must be moved. We're waiting on confirmation from TCL, and the reason for that is because we no longer have parking at our office. And then the Bluffton Recreation Center gymnasium may need to be moved also, and we are working to figure out a solution for our Bluffton voters, because as you know, the Bluffton Early Voting Center is the busiest one we have. We have a series of community forums that we are doing this year. I've already done 4 of them, and I have several more on the docket. 3 that are left are ones that I'm doing through my office. St. Helena Library is on March 19th. Hilton Head Library is on April 9th, and then we will be at the Dale Community Center on April 16th. We have also done some for some civic community organizations, and we are happy to do more if there are others that reach out to us and we can make that time available. New poll worker training, as he said, we hire 800 for every election, for most elections. For the smaller elections, it's not quite that many. We have 3 elections that we know of this year. May 12th, we have a special election in Bluffton, which affects the areas from Defusky Island all the way down through May River and that area. We will need to hire poll workers for that. We also have the June primaries, a potential runoff, and then of course the November general election. So what I have given you is our flyers for the new poll worker training as well as the community forums. I would be very happy if you would share them in your communities or on your platform. We also have coming up a candidate workshop that we are offering. We've publicized it and we're working on publicizing it more. And this is to help prospective candidates this year know what to expect and know how the candidate filing process will go. We will also have candidate filing for partisan and nonpartisan offices available. That is going to be on March 4th, roughly about 12 days before candidate filing begins. Our election day locations have gone from 126 locations in '24 to 134 precincts in 86 locations today. Those locations are going to continue to grow, and we appreciate your support in helping us find those locations to house our voters. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Felix. And we look forward to having reports from you on our agenda, probably at community services meetings and in the near future. So we'll thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Next and last is Felice Lamarca.
Oh.
Public comment?
Felice Lamarca. I have been absent from these meetings, and I would like to say I've missed you, but I have been watching you on TV. My request, since I am now an avid BCTV watcher, is that the next budget allocation you make it for us citizens, and let's have some interaction. As a member of the South Carolina Association of Realtors, I can tell you that it's possible. We are a huge group, and we have meetings where we can interact. Some of them have us on camera, and others are simply type in your question. So I make that suggestion. The big reason for me to stand up here is, Chairman Howard, you talked to us as our public comments that we should be respectful and mindful of each other. And Mr. McKellen, I really appreciated your invocation. It was spot on. What I'm getting at is, Larry and I watched the Finance Committee meeting last week, and we were extremely dismayed by the, not supposed to name people, Ms. Howard, but by one of the district councilmen making a motion, which this county council has voted down several times, and then at the end of that, saying something uncalled for about Ms. Tabernick. And the reason that upset me so much is because this council is is the only one in 30 years that I've been here that has been transparent, that has talked about the votes, that does listen to us, that does talk to us. And you want to shut her down? That is unacceptable, and it should be to each one of you. And you know I've been up here before when you've done it to other council members sitting right next to you. We see it, and it's not attractive. So please, clean up your own house.
Thank you. And that concludes, did we have any latecomers for public comment? No. Okay. All right, that concludes public comment. We have liaison and committee reports. We'll start in order as they are in the agenda. Community services.
Yeah, not much to discuss from the last meeting, but the upcoming meeting on March 2nd, we are going to be discussing in more detail the Human Services Department and that decision, and hopefully that can be an opportunity for the public to learn more about the proposal and how we can move forward with that that can serve the community while we do it.
Natural Resource Committee, Councilman York?
No, I don't have anything at this time, but the Natural Resource Committee will be meeting on the 2nd of March.
Okay, March 2nd. All right. Finance and Administration and Economic Development.
On finance, we met, and I think there's one thing on the consent agenda. It is the hawker's license, I think is what it is, which again, we're required to do that every year, and nothing has changed from last year. But again, the state requires us to pass that every year, so that's on there. And then just with respect to my district, Ms. Howard, it is tomorrow night. There is a meeting regarding the bike path on Burnt Church Road that's going to happen at MC Riley Elementary School from 5 to 7. That is a drop-in. It's not a meeting where you come and sit there, so you can stop by and just see what is planned for the bike path that's going to happen along Burnt Church Road. And then the other one I want to mention from my district is on March 12th. We will be meeting at the Bluffton Branch Library, and that is for all things All Joy, which includes update on the bike path on All Joy, and then the boat landing, the drainage, the sewer, Bailey's Park, and everything else that goes with it. So a lot of things happening in All Joy, so there'll be an update on that. Again, that is from 5:30 to 6:30, March 12th at the Bluffton Library, and that will be a meeting that will start at 5:30.
That's really called All Things All Joy?
Yeah, well, that's what I call it. So.
Okay, I think that's very appropriate. Okay, Public Facilities Committee, Councilman Cunningham.
Thank you. Yes, we just have one item on the agenda for the consent agenda. It's going to be a historical marker, actually out here in Beaufort over by tennis courts and bricks on Boundary. And then we also are filling a couple spots on boards. You'll see from the executive committee that we have, I think, 10 people, including one spot in Bluffton Fire. And we look to get those passed.
Okay, does anyone have any liaison reports at this time? I'll start with Councilman Reeds.
Councilwoman Brown and I sat on the Stormwater Board meeting last, I think it was this February 17th, and in the last couple of years, we brought in, just on Hilton Head alone, several communities, Old Woodlands, Oak Marsh, Bay Pines, Tie Point, Bradley Circle, Sandy Beach Trail, and the work that this group has done for these people is unbelievable. During that Stormwater Board meeting, I heard, and I think my colleague here just mentioned it, all things, all joy. And I want to see if there's a way we can set up communication portals for the work, the incredible work, and the hundreds of thousands we're spending on these stormwater efforts, like in all things Bay Pines Tide Point. And Mr. Moore, I direct this at you because I've had you with me probably 7 or 8 times in the last year or so at these communities, and the work, I mean, if we had all stakeholders had the ability to go into a portal that the county puts up, which I don't think would cost much money at all, and they have, they can look at that 24/7 on the status of their projects. You know, I wish I heard that earlier. But if you want to comment on that, if we can do that,
let's go on unless you have something else to report. I think and Councilman Passman had something. So,
Hey, Joe, do you mind if I go next? Because I have stormwater, add-on to stormwater. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. Is that okay, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. So in addition to what Mr. Reese has said, I just want to let council know the board elected Mark Feinberg as chair and Patrick Mitchell as vice chair for another year. The board wanted me to convey that they want the stormwater fees to remain in the enterprise fund and not go into the general fund. And I was going to mention what Mark mentioned, so I don't have to do that. And real quickly, I attended last Friday the grand opening for Le Creuset Distribution Center in Hampton County, because I sit on the board of SCA, and it's a distribution center that will create 150 jobs. This is real economic development. every order for our Le Creuset pot in Northern America will be shipped right out of here in South Carolina, and we should all be very proud of that. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Passman?
Yes, on February 12th was the Keep Beaufort County Beautiful Board meeting. Of note, we talked about the plantings that are going to be done in the spring at Gordon's Corner. We talked about the plastic bag ordinance that's coming up. They have spoken to the school district about recycling. And a little known fact is that each of the schools individually decide if and how they're going to be doing recycling. So that's additional work that we're going to be doing. Chris Campbell was reelected as the chairman, and Gene Zepfel was elected as the vice chairman. The draft budget is being put together as we speak, which will be presented to the county council. And the final thing is that we are doing a pilot program about composting. And there are little composting bins that anyone can get from them. I have one that we're trying out at my home. You put certain things in there, you take them to the recycling center, and they will put them in the composting bin that they have there. So, and our next meeting is going to be April 9th.
Right.
And we are still looking for members. I have been talking to individuals in District 5, and I have 2 candidates now.
So we have several vacancies on that board.
Yes, we do have 4 vacancies
All right.
there.
Hey, Councilman, Vice Chairman.
So first of all, Economic Development Corporation held Converge Conference on February 18th. Mr. Passman attended, and Mr. Dawson I saw there. I want to say it was held in Sun City, so we were very grateful to welcome the elected officials and business partners. I want to tell everyone the speaker was the best I've heard in my 4 years. She was outstanding. Dr. Rebecca Battle Bryant. She's the director of South Carolina's Office of Statewide Workforce Development. She shared strategies, resources, and real-world example to help us all attract, develop, and retain talent. Her presentation's available on the EDC website. It's really worth watching. She was absolutely dynamic. I don't say that about most speakers, but she was great. Second thing is we held Chat with Council on February 19th. Ms. Howard and Mr. Reitz joined me. We were at the Beaufort Library. I think we had about 30 people maybe. And I sent every council member a little wrap-up of what we talked about. And I also included the CAPA letter from the director of CAPA. She handed it out. Everyone received that tonight. And the third thing is our school district, they were really busy the week of February 10th. Operations Committee, Academics Committee, Finance Committee, Health Advisory Committee. And then they had a board meeting on the 17th. They negotiated an agreement with Novant Health to include teacher housing, teacher partnerships, and it's going to the board for final approval. And as always, they recognized lots of points of celebration, so they were very good. And I want to thank Ms. Felix. She already left. She spoke in Sun City to my group with Joe. She was great.
Outstanding.
Yes, great.
She's going to be back, though.
Not great,
Okay.
outstanding.
Okay, all right.
It's a pretty big shoes
Any
to
other
fill.
reports? I think that's it. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, I think I heard Councilman Passman first, and then Councilman Cunningham. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor by show of hands to approve the consent agenda, and that is unanimous. That is the end of our consent agenda. Item number 10, we have a lot of appointments. We're going to do them individually. I will read them. 10A is appointment of Michael Chachowski. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. To the Airports Board for a 2-year term with an expiration date of February 2028. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair.
So moved, or
right.
second?
All right, we had a motion by Councilman Cunningham and a second by Councilman Reitz. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of appointment? And that passes unanimously. Next is appointment of Glenn Williams to the Bluffton Township Fire District Board for a 4-year term with an expiration date of February 2030.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Tavernick and a second by Councilman Cunningham. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of appointment of Glenn Williams to the Bluffton Township Fire District? Is that unanimous?
Oh, I'm
yes.
sorry.
Okay. All right. Appointment of Bailey Calvar to the Disabilities and Special Needs Board for a 4-year term with an expiration date of February 2030, pending approval by the Governor's Office. So this still has to be approved by the Governor's Office.
So moved, Madam Chair.
We have a motion by Councilman Bartholomew and a second by Councilman Passament. All in favor? No discussion. And that is unanimous. Okay. Appointment of Marilyn Mitchell to the Disabilities and Special Needs Board for a 4-year term with an expiration date of February 2030, pending approval by the Governor's Office.
So moved, Madam Chair.
And we have a motion by Councilman Bartholomew and a second by
Awesome.
Councilman Dawson. Is that right? Yeah, okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Marilyn Mitchell to the DSN Board? Is that unanimous? Okay. Appointment of Michael Glosky to the Keep Beaufort Board for a 4-year term with an expiration date of February 2030. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right.
I'll second it.
All right. Councilman Passament and second by Vice Chairman Tavernick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor to Keep Beaufort Beautiful? That is unanimous. All right. Appointment of Angela Baldry. Am I saying that right? All right. District 3 to the Library Board for a 4-year term with an expiration date of February 2030. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Joe,
Second that one.
Joe and Passament and Vice Chairman Tabernick. All in favor by show of hands? And that is unanimous. Okay. Appointment of Mary Oladun, District 7, to the Library Board for a 4-year term with an expiration date of February 2030. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
A motion by Councilman Passman, second by Councilman Cunningham. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Appointment of Jacqueline Howard, District 8, to the Library Board for a 4-year term with an expiration date of February 2030.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion by Vice Chairman Tabernick, a second by Councilman Passman. All in favor by show of hands, and that is unanimous. Appointment of Dahlia Hanman, District 10, to the Library Board for a 4-year term with an expiration date of February 2030. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, thank you, Councilman Passman.
Second it.
All right. All in favor by show of hands? So does that fill up our board for the library?
Yes, it does.
So we have no vacancies. That's great.
right.
Okay. In 2030, we'll have some. Appointment of Joseph Marano to the Zoning Board for a 3-year term with an expiration date of February 2029. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Reitz.
Second.
And a second by Councilman Cunningham. All in favor by show of hands? And that is unanimous. Thank you. And now I'll turn it over to our Vice Chairman, ordinances for third reading.
Could you just tell everyone why we did that, how we interviewed everybody and did that process?
I was
just so
gonna
everyone
say
understood
something.
why we ran through it so quickly.
Oh, yes. All of these people were interviewed and along with other people, and these people were the ones chosen to be appointed. So that's following with our new process for interviewing everyone for the boards. Thank you.
Okay, ordinance for third reading, 2026/02, is an ordinance authorizing the county administrator to execute the necessary documents and provide funding for the purchase of real property located at 1451 Ribolt Road, TMS number R110-009-000-0031 and 4 zeros, from Drayton Parker Companies, LLC, in the amount of $700,000 plus closing costs. Can I have a motion for
Make
this?
that motion.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and seconded, and this is a public hearing, but Pinky, you have something to say?
I do not. I'm filling in for Jared. He's out of town, so if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
All right, let me do public hearing. No one signed up for public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this ordinance? Okay, I'll close public hearing. Anyone from council have a question that Ms. Harriet can help you with? We've already done this several times, so thank you for standing up anyway. Okay, all in favor of ordinance 2026/02? Okay, just checking, Mr. Dawson. All right, let's move on to the next one. Sorry, I have to move my computer. Now we're on ordinances for second reading. 2026/03 is an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a drainage easement located on Leo Green Road. This is a public hearing. The vote at Public Facilities and Safety, January 20th, was 10-0. The vote at first reading, February 9th, was 10-0. Can I have a motion for this? Thank you, Mr. Cunningham, and Mr. Dawson did the second. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this ordinance? Okay, I'll close public hearing. Anyone from council have a question? Mr. Harriet's here at our disposal.
Standing in for Brian Bauer on this one.
Oh, you're the new Brian Bauer tonight? Okay. Pinky was the new Jared, and you're, okay. Any question?
Jared on the next one, too.
Okay. Any question for Mr. Harriet?
If I might.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Harriet, if you would just explain the process of this drainage easement that is located on Leo.
Yeah, so this was a county road that dirt road we just paved, and the conveyance of this storm water off this road needs to outfall through that easement. That's basically what it is.
In this road to tie into the outfall?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
And for the public, it is in the packet starting at page 44. Any other question for Mr. Harriet? All right, all in favor of 2026/03, please raise your hand. And we're unanimous. Thank you. 2026/05 is an ordinance authorizing the abandonment of a drainage easement recorded in Deed Book 3695 on pages 3345 to 3347 and Deed Book 3695 at pages 3348 to 3350, located off Gumwood Drive in Northern Ladies Island. And this is a public hearing. The vote at Public Facilities on January 20th was 9-0. The vote at our first reading on February 9th was 10-0. Can I have a motion for this ordinance?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bartholomew. Second?
I'll second.
Ms. Howard. So duly motioned and second for 2026-05. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak on this ordinance? Okay, seeing no one, I'll close public hearing. And anybody on council have a question? Mr. Harriet's ready again. All right, then let's take a vote, please. I'll raise your hand if you're in favor of this ordinance. All right, thank you.
One thing, Madam Chair, Mr. Brian Bauer isn't here. His father passed away last week, so if y'all don't mind, keep him in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you for telling us. Ordinance for first reading, 2026/06 is an ordinance adding a new section 54-8 to the Beaufort County Code of Ordinances so as to prohibit and make unlawful the discharge of firearms in certain unincorporated areas of the county, to provide the penalty pertaining to such violations, and to provide certain expectations and limitations thereto. The vote at Community Service and Public Safety on February 3rd was 6-2. Can I have a motion for this ordinance, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. A second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Brown seconds. We have a motion and a second. This is first reading, so I'm going to ask Mr. Halbert to come and address this so the public knows what we're talking about, and anyone on dais that has a question, he will answer it.
Yes, good afternoon, Council. Beginning in August, September of last year, we started getting complaints from the neighborhoods in the rural unincorporated county south of the Broad by New Riverside related to gunshots in the area. And they were asking us to amend or adopt an ordinance to prohibit the discharge of firearms. So we met with members of the community, and specifically Mr. Jeremy Bratcher, who was the driving force for the neighborhood. And at that meeting, I think it was the vice chair, I believe the chair was there, the administrator was there, my deputy and myself were there, and Mr. Atkinson, the ACA for planning. We met with him, we heard his complaints and everything, and at that meeting, we agreed that we would draft an ordinance and bring it for discussion at the Public Safety Committee. And we brought that ordinance to the November 17th Public Facilities meeting, Public Facilities and Public Safety combined there, obviously, at that time. And during that discussion, we talked about an ordinance, and it was based upon an ordinance that had been adopted in Charleston. They had recently passed one. And in Charleston, they prohibited discharging a firearm within 100 feet of structures or buildings. We were looking for something further because we're talking about the unincorporated county here in Beaufort County. And so initially I drafted an ordinance for 1,000 feet. That was part of the discussion. The Beaufort County Sheriff's Office thought that might be too tough, too far of a distance, so it'd be too tough to make a case. So we sent the ordinance for them to review, and based upon discussions with them, we agreed to put forth an ordinance where we would prohibit the discharge of firearms 500 feet from the buildings, to include residences, schools, public parks. So that's what's before you today. That's what the committee considered and forwarded up to the county council tonight for discussion. You'll recall at the last meeting when we talked about this at the Public Safety Committee, there were a lot of guests from the neighborhood here, and we learned about shots from a different neighborhood north of the Broad here that were having the same complaints adjacent to Port Royal there. So from unincorporated county into the adjacent jurisdiction of Port Royal. And the consensus from the members that talked to me in the hallway after the discussion was they would like it to be a greater distance like we originally proposed. But you understand the difficulty that Mr. Gorley, General Counsel for the Sheriff's Office, explained as far as why if you go with that greater distance, it makes it more difficult for them. You really make it just feel good if you go to 1,000 feet. But the further you get away from where that building or structure or park is, the tougher the case is. So 500 feet was a compromise, and that's what is before you tonight for discussion at this first reading. Any questions?
Questions or comments from council? Mr. Reeds?
Mr. Holbert, I think you addressed it really well. Attorney Gorley talked about having something from us that had teeth that they would be able to enforce. So it sounds like we addressed that. Am I correct, from the 1,000 to the 500? I mean, were all his concerns addressed? He spoke pretty well here during that meeting.
This is the ordinance. The one that's before you is the one that was signed off on and endorsed by the legal counsel for the Sheriff's Office. Yes, sir.
I appreciate that.
Was it actually endorsed by them, or did they say that they've reviewed it?
They've reviewed it and they approved it, and that was something that they could accept.
Did they approve it? Because I think
only council can approve the ordinance.
Well, no, I believe Daniel said that they weren't endorsing any of this, but they have reviewed it, and they still had concerns about enforceability.
I can read you what his response was if you'd like.
Well, I'm talking about at the meeting, not in the email.
I don't recall what was specifically said at the meeting. I got the email that I've got from when he sent it back, and that's what they were accepted. He understood the reason for 1,000 feet. He thought the 500 feet that I originally proposed to send to him for there is the max that we should extend out, is what he said. The smaller the distance, like in Charleston, the more likely it would be that there would be a witness to the shooting to corroborate it, and identify the location of the shooter.
Chairwoman, just one more follow-up. Officer or Attorney Gormley made it very clear, please don't just do something for the sake of doing it. Do we know that he read this? But did he endorse it? And listen, I was one of the ones that voted no because I wanted to push back and say, heck, we all want to protect everybody and everything. But if we have the enforcement people here saying it's not enforceable, please do something that makes it enforceable. Before we go forward, I'd like to know that.
Well, to be enforceable, you have to have witnesses and be able to make your case to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt is what you're talking about. So every case will be different, and it'll depend upon the facts and circumstances of each individual case. When you bring in a case, you look for all the evidence you can, and you really won't know how enforceable it is until it's tested. But each case would be tested differently depending upon the facts and circumstances and the proof that you have. Do you have evidence of the shells? Do you have witnesses? Things of that nature.
I'm not going to argue with you. I just want to know that we had law enforcement here saying that please do something that's enforceable. I think the question is, and I think my colleague said it as well, or asked it as well, did Officer Gormley say he'll endorse this because it actually addresses what they need, or is this more of a let's throw a stab in? I don't know if that's the way we want to go. Let's do it. If we're going to put it up there just to test it, I mean, I don't understand why we do it that way.
I can't speak for the sheriff, and that's who would be the one to endorse it if you're going to endorse it. Mr. Gorley, like me, just gives advice is what he does. But he reviewed it and gave his opinion, and the one that he sent back to me was what they approved from their office. I don't have something from Sheriff Tanner that says that. I've just got what his comments were, and then you heard what he said at the meeting last week, so judge for yourself as far as what you think his opinion was as far as this ordinance.
I'm only pushing because we owe it to the people to do the right thing. So whatever we can do to do that, I think we have the people in place to do it. We just got to hear it.
All right, Mr. Lawson?
Yes, and the reason that this has come forward is because of apparent shots that were fired and people hearing whizzing bullets going by their head, and maybe they found a bullet in a home along New Riverside that occurred. So that's why this has happened, is because there is a state law already in place, that the state law is there, but we heard from our law enforcement that it was difficult to enforce, and that's why they've asked us then to come with this ordinance. So now reading the ordinance that we have in place, and obviously, Beaufort County is a very outdoors place. Many people own guns, and usually people that own guns are very safe with the guns they've got. I am all for safety. This ordinance is not about noise. It's about keeping people safe. So some of the things that have been brought to my attention from my constituents, and I've got quite a bit of my area that is outside the town limits of Bluffton, that's an unincorporated area, as people ask about even the 500-foot area. That would be for a rifle. But if someone has a shotgun, you don't need 500 feet for a shotgun. And there's a lot of people that shoot clays in their backyards, and they could have 1 or 2 acres that they've got, or people shoot clays off of a dock that they've got, or there are people that actually go out into the water and shoot clays from their boat. So this might be overreach on what we're doing, but again, it's all about safety with those neighborhoods and people firing guns. So I don't have anything today to present and say this is what I'd recommend to make a change that would allow then people to have that opportunity, because even if you were going to shoot a dove, there's a lot of people that shoot dove with shotguns, and they're going to be within 500 feet of a building, a lot of times in a field that's close by or something like that. So the last thing I want to do is to inhibit people from using their guns as they intended when they bought the property. And there's a lot of people that say, I live in unincorporated Beaufort County for that reason. I live in a neighborhood that actually, because the association says I cannot shoot a gun in my neighborhood. So there's neighborhoods that have that. So as it's written now, again, safety is the most important thing. We want to make sure no one's firing towards homes. But again, it might be overreach where we're sitting right now, protecting then people's rights to use their guns in their backyard. And again, as I first stated, most people are very safe to make sure they never shoot towards a house or a car or a person, a building, and they've been doing it for years and years and years, but it's that one negligent person that we have that has caused this issue then for us to have to put a whole ordinance in. So again, just to back up and say, I don't have a recommendation. I need to look at it a little closer, and there might be a recommendation comes in for the second reading, but right now, I mean, I do have concerns about the way it's written and not having the shotgun or rifle, or not having the 500 feet or something like that.
Thank you. Mr. Bartholomew?
So I'm usually the first to complain about how slow government is. This actually went pretty quick from complaint to action, and I appreciate you doing that. This is a serious topic. And we need to try to address the problem. I do not think that this particular ordinance with the 500 feet, and I've had additional conversations with the solicitor, with the sheriff's department attorneys, and they are concerned with enforceability. And I sincerely do not want to put something on the books that is a feel-good to try to solve the problem that ultimately curbs law-abiding citizens from exercising their right to utilize their firearms on their property. Following the meeting, I actually drafted some amended language to 1623-440, which is a state statute, and got with our state delegation, some members of that, and put forth a section C and D to that state statute, which is negligent discharge of a firearm into a dwelling and negligent discharge of a firearm into a vehicle. It mirrors what the state statute is. I know that we don't have any purview over the state statute, but I think that this needs more work. I would be inclined, I want to solve the problem, again, but I think a negligence language would be better to incorporate rather than a definitive 500 feet for discharging a firearm, because really what we're trying to address is when someone is negligent with a firearm. And I think that even though a 30-day misdemeanor, if we were to pass something like that here at the county level, tribal and magistrate court, I know that's a slap on the wrist, but potentially we could add some gun safety training as part of that. I'm going to vote no as currently written if this moves forward. But I'm inclined to make a motion to send this back to committee so that we can work on this and properly address it. And get more community feedback, because I'm continuing to hear from the community that they're concerned about this as well.
I would second that for you.
Well, I'm going to let other people talk
Mr.
first.
Glover.
Yes, this actually came from committee, right? So it has to have 3 readings.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you forward it on the first reading, and then you have a chance to do whatever in your committee, be fine. But I think we need to say something to the community that basically when you have guns in a neighborhood and people are shooting, it's not only happening in south of the Broad, it's happening north of the Broad as well. And there are communities that are saying, what can you do about it? So at least this is putting something on the table that we can do something about it. I'm going to vote to support it. And if you want to go back to committee to refine, that's fine, but at least put something on the books. Thank you.
Howard?
This happened in Port Royal, Shadow Moss, in the area adjacent to Shadow Moss, Port Royal. Both their chief and their assistant chief are very supportive of this. It was very bad what happened over there. I'm going to vote to support this. A family had to take cover, literally, with what happened at a house in Shadow Moss. And I think we can make the revisions after first reading, correct?
You can always amend it up until the final approval at the third
So
reading.
I'd like to keep it at this level, and if we need to work on it, we'll work on it.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We're also going to have public hearing, right, in between
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the votes? First, second, and third?
There has to be a
reading?
public hearing for every ordinance.
Yeah.
Public saying, yeah, so, yeah. I'll be
Mr.
voting.
Cunningham or Mr. Dawson?
Yeah, I'm going to support the motion, I'm going to support the ordinance as it is written now. I'm open for further discussion. But to Councilman Glover's point, we need to get something on the book to not appease, but to actually make an attempt to address the situation that we have. I have a neighbor that's a couple of houses from me. She has a bullet that came through the top part of her house, hit the back of the television, went into the stood in the wall. Called the deputies out. They came out, they took a look at it, and they basically surmised that, okay, they don't know where the bullet come from. There's nothing they can do. The bullet that's lodged in the door jamb and in one of the rooms in the house, it's so far into the wood that they didn't bother to try and get it out. So we need something to actually address this issue, because as was said earlier, it's not only just south of the Broad, it's been happening north of the Broad for quite some time now. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, fortunately we have some target practicing in the rural parts of the area in the woods where they do have the dirt berms, and the deputy sheriffs will go out and verify that they meet the state statute of having the dirt berms. But in addition to that, we still have negligence that is always possible, and so we need to have something in the book to address the negligence part of this.
Mr. Cunningham, anything?
Yes, ma'am. There's no way this is enforceable the way it's written. He just described an incident where they don't know where the bullet came from, so there's no way you're going to be able to track that down. He also talked about a berm, which this has already been confirmed that this location where this started has a berm, and the deputies have been out there and said the berm does meet the standards as well. So this is just something that came up because, one, pretty sure isn't that neighborhood in town of Bluffton?
Yes.
And then the other house that we're accusing of is an unincorporated. Yes. So we're creating a law for an instance where we have one problem, maybe two, if the other one we just learned about, is impacting somebody that's in the town limits and someone that's unincorporated. So the people inside that neighborhood don't even got to abide by the same rules. They abide by the ones of town of Bluffton. So I have issues with when you start restricting guns anyways. The reason for that is people that are going to break the law are going to break the law anyways. So we're creating a law for law-abiding citizens. If somebody is breaking the state statute where it enters a house, that is already illegal by state statute. There's nothing we are doing here that changes that except putting where you're allowed to shoot, not if it actually enters a building, which we already know that's a felony by state standards, and it should be. If we're going to put 500 feet on, that means if that person's in a house and unincorporated and their neighbor moves and someone else goes in and buys that house, they could say they don't give permission anymore and just took away that person's property's rights because their neighbor moved. That gives them that ability to do it. Because in our ordinance, it says you have to have permission from surrounding houses if you're going to shoot an unincorporated within the 500 feet. All it takes is one neighbor to say they don't like it, to be able to tell someone what they could do on their property when they bought that property that had those rights. There's no way I'm going to take away the property rights of somebody in Beaufort County, especially somebody that was there first, and then the neighborhood came and got built in. I'm all for safety and I'm all for figuring it out, but if this is something we need to figure out with one person or one instance, then we need to address that situation and that person, not create a law for the entire county. I'm tired of creating laws just to create laws for the sake of a mask. So I won't support it. I would highly encourage somebody to try to send it back down if they want, because I think you're in fear of it going down in denial altogether if you guys try to move it forward. I won't recommend it because I want to see it go down altogether, but I would just caution lightly with that you're closer on those votes than I think you would realize. But if you guys are adamant about working on it, I would take David's offer and send it back down before it goes down as a no.
Okay, I'd like to make comments on the last one. So I actually visited this site. Here's my concern, and this is why, to me, it's a little more urgent than some of the others. It is not one person. Where this bullet came through is where children are going to stand when May River Elementary School opens, which will be in the fall. So the bullet, where the person is shooting is in that general area. And it may have been one person that time, but several people have brought up that they heard it. It happened in Joe's neighborhood, in Riverbend. It's happened in her neighborhood. It is not one person. And I think we need to talk about safety. We're talking about children here too. And Logan is correct. The issue is the neighborhood is in Bluffton. The shooter was in unincorporated Beaufort. So the neighbors called Bluffton and they say, not our problem. They called the sheriff. There was this back and forth. So I think we've made some headway. We probably need to go back for more, but we did involve the sheriff. We did involve Daniel Gorley. We've been through some of that. We did involve the city of Bluffton originally as well. So I think we've made progress, but I believe we need to do something because we have children involved here.
Councilman McClellan as well.
Oh,
just for clarity, it's over 2,000 feet away from that new school. This house.
Mr. McClellan?
Thank you. I think it's all been said already.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody have a second comment? We've done one round.
I would just make two comments based on what I heard here, not entering in the politics of it. But in general, I think David's got a good idea as far as contacting the state, because as a rule, I favor criminal laws being consistent throughout the state. They should be consistent. But when you talk about local ordinances, there's often a need for it. And the value in the local ordinance aspect, the greatest value is the deterrent effect. So if it deters just one, it's worth it. If it has a greater deterrent effect, okay. If you can use that ordinance to inform someone that it's prohibited, you might stop that. I don't know. But if there's not a law there, you're not going to. That's all I've got to say.
All right, so we've all had discussion, so all in favor of this first reading of 2026/06?
You need a roll call.
Oh, roll call, please.
Yes, thank you.
You go, Sarah.
Councilmember Dawson?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Nope.
Councilmember Passament?
Yes.
Councilmember McGowan?
Yes.
Councilmember Lawson?
Mark Lawson, no.
Councilmember Glover?
Yes.
Councilmember Cunningham?
No.
Councilmember Bartholomew?
No.
Vice Chair Tabernick?
Yes.
Chair Howard?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, so ordinance 2026/06. Again, this was first reading, so it's coming back for second reading. And we can, did you want to make a motion there, Mr.? No. Okay. All right. Moving on, 2026/07 is an ordinance amending the zoning map for 5 acres with all of those zeros and Rs and everything, from T3HN to T4VC. The vote at Natural Resource Committee on February 3rd was 6-0 and 1 abstention. Can I have a motion for this
Madam
ordinance?
Chairman, before you take that motion, I need to recuse myself because I'm in leadership in that fellowship, so.
Okay, so you'll fill out the paperwork.
I did already.
Okay, we'll let you know when to come back to
I'll make the
us.
motion.
Thank you, Mr. Passament. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. All right, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Merchant is here to explain.
Yes. Well, good evening, Council. So this is a 5-acre piece of property, actually consisting of 3 different parcels. It is located just south of the Corners community on St. Helena Island. Actually, it's in the Corners community, but it's just south of an area that is zoned T4 Village Center. The particular property that is requesting rezoning is zone T3 Hamlet neighborhood, and it is currently the site of Bethesda Christian Fellowship. They occupy that site, and they're seeking to increase the zoning because in our Community Development Code, there are 2 categories of what we call meeting facility, place of worship. One is 15,000 square feet or less, and the other one is, allows greater than 15,000 square feet. And the purpose of that is because of the impact on the community. With the current zoning of this property, T3 Hamlet neighborhoods, this church is restricted to no greater than 15,000 square feet. And being a non-conforming use, they could only expand 15%. It is the interest of the church to expand beyond that, and they're seeking to change the zoning to T4 Village Center. I will mention that zoning T4 Village Center is the zoning of the properties located just north of there that cover the center of the Corners community. And this is an existing use that is on that site. For that reason, staff has looked at the impact on the Corners community, the intent of the zoning, and we believe that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan and recommends approval. I can go through the reasons, or unless council want, we believe that it's basically consistent with the comprehensive plan. It'll also, because of the that is the proposed change to T4 Village Center. It would not create a situation of spot zoning, so it would basically just expand that district to include the existing church. It would not be in any conflict with the development code. There is an interest in the church to develop a school. You know, we certainly support institutional uses in that area and believe that this would address a community need. Let's see. We didn't really feel it was required by change conditions. It's compatible with the existing proposed uses around the site. It basically adjoins other properties that are non-residential in the center of the Corners community, would not have adverse impacts on nearby lands, would result in a logical, orderly development pattern, and would not result in adverse impacts on the natural environment, including to the water, air, noise, stormwater management, wildlife, vegetation, wetlands, and the natural environment, and is already served by public facilities and adequately served. So for those reasons, staff supports this recommendation. The Planning Commission supported this unanimously, and then also the Natural Resources Committee. And I realize that's a whirlwind overview, but with that, I'm willing to answer any questions you may have. So.
And I would just remind the public, it's all in the packet, so they can read all of that as well. Thank you, Mr. Merchant. Any questions for Mr. Merchant? Yes, Mr. Cunningham.
Yeah, what all is allowed in T4?
T4 Village Center is a mixed-use residential commercial district, and it really is, it's the most intense district in the Corners community. So it allows, a mix of commercial, retail, service, and residential uses.
The highest zoning possible.
Yes.
And then just looking at the map in our backup documents, it only shows the one property next to it, that's T4. Everything else around it is either T2 rural or the same zoning that's there currently, including the one below it. How far does that go below?
How far does what go below?
So the property itself, you said, is 3 parcels. I'm assuming it's a 3 in red. Those are, thank you. The ones right below that property are also zoned T3. The only one that's actually zoned T4 is the property above it. So how far does that T3 go down that road?
I would have to check the map, but it's a few more parcels, and then you get to Penn Center, which is zone T2 rural.
So we would push that all the way down. So realistically, this could start going all the way down to Village Center, all the way to Penn Center.
It has, yeah.
They can say it's no longer spot zoning because my neighboring is T4.
And I will say that one of the reasons that staff supports this is that it's an existing use. It's not expanding that zoning district to accommodate for new development. It's basically acknowledging the pattern of development in the area.
Only if they keep the property.
That's correct.
They could sell the property. And with the new zoning, the highest zoning allowed. And you said this is on St. Helena?
Yes.
Make a comment.
Are you done?
Yeah, I was just some questions. I wasn't at that meeting. Thank
Just for
you.
the record, there is a river that separates this parcel from Penn Center.
Yes.
Howard?
I'd just like to make a comment. This has been historically church property for generations and generations. The likelihood of it could happen that it be sold, but with the addition of what they propose to do with a school, I think that would be highly unlikely that it would be sold.
Anybody else? Comment, question? Mr. Lawson?
I think we still have the public comment to come in the next ordinance, so I think that we'll then see if there's opposition or support from the community at that time. I always like to see churches and things like that expand if they can, and because again, they're such a big part of the community. So again, I'll support to get to the second reading and the public comment.
All right, anybody else? All right, so all in favor of 2026/07?
Read the reasons why we're doing this.
You have to read the reasons, correct?
Yes, I move that we grant the request for rezoning for the following reasons. Number one, it is consistent with the goals and policies of the Comprehensive Code and the purposes of the Development Code. Two, it is not in conflict with provisions of the Development Code or our Code of Ordinances. Three, it does address a demonstrated community need. Four, it is not required by changed conditions. Five, it is compatible with existing and proposed use of land surrounding this land. Six, it would not adversely affect nearby land. Seven, it would result in logical and orderly development patterns. Eight, it would not result in adverse impact on the natural environment. And nine, it would result in development that is adequately served by public facilities.
All right.
I'll second that.
He was just reading the reasons. All right, all in favor of 2026/07? Raise your hand. All opposed? We have 2 opposed, and Mr. Glover is recused. All right, thank you. Madam Chair, that concludes the ordinances.
Okay, number 14A, we have 2 resolutions, 2026-05, a resolution authorizing the county administrator to execute documents necessary and to provide funds to contribute to the procurement by the applicant, the Open Land Trust, for a conservation easement on the property located in the town of Hilton Head Island, known as the Simmons Tract. PIN number R5100000000008 0000R, and then the second one, I'm not going to read that one, not to exceed $1,545,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilman Reitz. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Councilman Glover. Discussion?
I would like to
Questions?
discuss, Madam Chair.
I think we have staff here, Mark Davis, to address any questions or discussion.
We've got a map up to the
And
property.
we'll show you the map.
My questions are not about Simmons Track. My question is about a pie that my understanding that you drew, or the green space, northwest, southeast. Is that right?
Well, that was
the
it.
map.
That was a map.
Is
that
this
showed-
this is about green space, right?
Yeah, this is a green space.
This is green space.
This is-
Okay. Okay, let's stop there.
It was a
Okay.
specific piece of property.
Right, in green space. That's located on Hilton Head.
Right.
No, I'm not finished. All the taxpayers of Beaufort County donated, or not donated, paid taxes for the green space. I think we raised $100 million, is that right?
A little more than that, yes, ma'am.
$125 million.
Oh, wow, even more than I thought. So I live in the western part of the pie that was drawn. And my colleagues sitting next to me on both sides here live in the western part of the county. We've gotten zero. And Senator Davis, I attended the last Green Space meeting, and Senator Davis added and addressed my concerns in that meeting. We've gotten zero. So I'm going to vote no for this until we start getting our piece of the pie.
So,
Would you like to address that?
yeah, if I could.
Sure.
So when you say you've gotten zero, just so I'm clear, you mean that no projects have been funded in that area? Is that?
Correct.
Okay. So the way that the green space works, which I'm sure you're aware, is that we have to have applicants in that area who are willing landowners to participate. County staff does not control that. We can't mandate that any landowners in a particular area apply. We are certainly willing to work with landowners who are in those districts. If you know of any, you can, if there are parcels
Chuck,
of land
let me correct you on that, because Senator Davis addressed this in the Green Space meeting. I don't know if you were in that meeting or not. I don't remember.
Okay.
But Victoria Bluff.
Okay.
It's still in progress, so.
It's still in progress. And what about the foothills, the Buckwalter property? That fell through, right? The end of the year? They have to reapply? I'm just saying, there's Hilton
first
Head,
of all,
and
Foothills-
I've had a discussion with some town of Hilton Head council people as well, that Hilton has got quite a bit, and we've got nothing.
Well, Victoria Bluff is not over with. It's still in progress.
Correct.
But
That's
I'm
still in
saying,
progress. And the
until we
foothills are
start
still in
getting our piece of the
negotiation.
pie, I'm voting no for this.
Okay.
that's-
We appreciate your comments then. Any other questions? None?
I just,
I
you know,
just want to say, I can appreciate what Ms. Brown's saying, because we have a finite amount of funds. And right now, the majority of what we spent, excluding Gregory Neck and Chelsea, has gone to Hilton Head Island. And I commend them for aggressively seeking green space money. But eventually, we're going to have to say, hey, we have 3 other quarters that need to deal with, but people have to apply for this green space. And I totally understand that. I just want to make sure that if people are a little bit lax in the west portion or the north portion, they haven't applied yet, I want to make sure we don't run out of money by continually funding one sector. I think that's what Ms. Brown's talking about.
So in our green space ordinance, it allocates funds to those regions. So you can't take money from one region and spend it in another. So if you're worried about money running out in a region, that's not going to happen. If you have an out-of-county purchase or fund, conservation, whatever the application is, then those are distributed in a couple of different ways. One we had that was distributed in all 4 because of where it was, and then we have another one which is basically a grant. It's a loan that's going to be paid back that was allocated to a district, but that money's coming back to the county. So the equity and the equitability piece of it is there. So you're not going to run out of money in a particular quadrant just because money is being spent in other areas. And once that proportional share in one area is spent, they're done. Unless you rewrite the ordinance, right? Once they meet that cap of a quarter of allocating money in Hilton Head, and they have been very aggressive, they have. But once they meet that dollar amount, no other projects are going to be funded.
You keep saying equity. That's not the same as a piece of the pie. So I want to make clear, because maybe land is much more expensive on Hilton Head than it may be in the western region or in the north. So it's really not cut into 4 pieces. You're talking about equitable, which is not even. They're not the same.
From a dollar amount, it is. If you're looking at it by acre, of course, not every acre is worth the same dollar amount. If you're looking at dollars, it is equitable because it's an even split. And then council, for anything spent out of the county, has the ability to appropriate that any way you want.
Councilman Bartholomew.
I know this isn't necessarily germane to the agenda item, but I asked this very same question, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, and about the equal distribution of the quadrants, and I got the answer that you were talking about with equity, meaning that it wasn't going to be 25%, 25%, 25%, spread out, that it was based on the dollar amount and the acreage and all that stuff and the equity. The Hilton Head has more expensive property, so they may get a larger piece of that pie. That's just completely opposite of what you're saying today, and I just want to make sure I understand that, because I had the same concern about the distribution of that.
It is a dollar amount percentage split, north, south, east, and west. The only caveat to that is when you spend money as a council outside of the county.
Like we did in Jasper County.
So the ordinance says that the quadrant that benefits the most, but that's very subjective, right? If it's a watershed piece that touches all 4, then you split it 4 ways. The only other one that we had out of county is a loan. So we really only have one that was split 4 ways, and we have a loan that's going to be paid back, which is $6 million. So that's the equitable piece.
I have a request. Could you send all of us the ordinance again?
Absolutely.
Just as a refresher, so
Absolutely.
we can all look.
Sure.
I'm like Mr. Bartholomew. That's what we were
We'll
told.
send it to them.
Remember that, don't you?
Yeah, we were told equitable is not even.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
exactly.
that's why we're all raising the question.
It's not even, if you look at
Money.
it from the number of acres.
No, money.
No,
'cause we
money, it
asked.
is even. There's no other way to do it that's not equitable. So, Mark, it is split 4 ways plus the out-of-county, correct?
No.
If this is the conversation during this agenda item, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, well, we're answering.
Might as well.
Can.
Yeah, might as well, before we vote.
All right. Well, the way the discussions and kind of people who've been here from the beginning, there were some discussions regarding this equal and this equitable. And I think the elements of how it was to be appropriated based off of where it was, how it came through, and then the ordinance that was adopted, the ordinance does speak to and use to the term equitable. And then it kind of defines the terms of how equity can be used. It doesn't necessarily specifically say equally divided to quadrants. However, that has been a part of the discussion of council. So if this is where we're going with this, I would put it on the county and county council to very quickly decide what direction you want to take, equal and equitable, if this is where we're at now as a part of this discussion with this program.
And again, we need to see the ordinance because we're all talking about something that we don't have in front of us.
Yes.
Right, so that's,
Yeah.
yeah, so that is when we split that into 4 equal pieces, it was a quarter split with anything outside being equitably, that's not the right word, equally split most appropriately through those 4. But it has been my understanding as we move forward that it is a 25% split between all 4, and the outside is equitably divided either based on impact or how it affects those regions that it's close to, or as a watershed, it would be all 4.
This would be a good discussion at the Natural Resource.
Yeah, we'll be happy to
County
put that on if you want to put that on as a discussion item, sure.
I think Councilman Larson.
Yeah, let me just, I'm for to vote on this evening, but and I'm not advocating for Hilton Head, but when you start talking about equitable, they've probably paid more into the $100 million and $125 million than the other 4 areas. I'm not saying they should get more money. I think it should be split evenly, but that's when you start talking about, what's fair and what's not fair and how it works out and all those things. So again, this is something that we need to figure out as a council. So I think it's good if it comes back, to the committee and we can discuss that after we have a chance to look at the ordinance the way it's written.
I think.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
No, we've got Councilman Reeds and then Councilman McAllen, and then I'll come back to you, Councilman Brown.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tonight's session for Hilton Head, think about it. Between Mitchellville 26, Beach, the 1.89 acres there, and this, and the 5.8, it's going to be about 14 to 15 million right now with this pass, if we pass this. Chuck, I agree with you. I think it makes sense that we do a 25. Let's do 100. Keep it easy, 25 all the way. And it's going to be more than that. But, Paula, I will support every district to get equal amount. But tonight, let's not lose sight of what we're protecting on Hilton Head. And it's less than that quarter split right now with everything we've done there.
Looking for it, Sarah? It's not in there.
I'm sorry?
Sorry.
Oh, so I thought, but listen, you can add that up pretty well. It's probably about 12 mil.
Yeah, it's a pretty sizable ordinance. I doubt that the whole ordinance is in the backup, but we'll send it out. And if you would like to have this discussion at a committee, we're certainly willing to do that.
Okay. All right, Councilman McAllen has his hand up. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think this is an appropriate discussion to have. This particular item here is a highly desirable piece of property.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay. This is not a fee simple purchase. We're not going to. There have been a number of offers to the family that own this. process and move it along, I think we would do a disservice. A goal here by keeping the property under the family that's owned it for generations to continue to live.
Okay, any other, one more comment? I'll call the question, all right? We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second.
Councilmember Reeds?
Yes.
Councilmember Glover?
Yes.
Councilmember Passman?
Yes.
Councilmember McGowan?
Yes.
Councilmember Lawson?
Mark Lawson, yes.
Councilmember Dawson?
Yes.
Councilmember Cunningham?
Yes, but I would like to make a comment afterwards since I didn't before.
Councilmember Brown?
No.
Councilmember Bartholomew?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tabernick?
Yes.
Chair Howard?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, Councilman Cunningham?
Thank you. Sorry, I was just raising my hand, letting you guys go at it. But in our, the ordinance is on the county website, and it doesn't say it is required. It says it will be taken into consideration for the applicants. It is not a requirement. It's taken into consideration.
Okay.
So just putting that out there. But I would like at some point, not tonight, because I don't think this is the right setting for that, but an update on that Bluffton property, because it was on our agenda, then it was removed. If we could have that one day. We voted on it the first time.
The town bought it.
Yeah, the town.
Yeah.
We have two Bluffton applications, town purchased A and B, and that is still actively, and we are still actively in communication with the town on that, so I can give you an update on that right now, and we are...
That's the one that went through first reading but hasn't been back for second or third.
No, it would be a grant. We would approve it. You approved it by resolution to fund the project, and the town purchased it without green space dollars.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I could just make a comment.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to bring the ordinance to a committee for discussion, you should probably include the referendum to make sure that the language is
Right,
emphatic.
we went, when we initially adopted it, we went through that, so it'll take some work, not some work, committee level, I think, is the appropriate time to dive into it. Okay.
Yeah, they're both right here on our county website for the ordinance and the setting up the green space board, as well as the ordinance itself and how it should be distributed to the board.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't think tonight's the night to get into that. Okay.
Agree.
All right. Anything else? We can do it at committee level. All right, 14B is 2026-04, a resolution repealing Resolution 2024-54 and Resolution 2019-31 and replacing them with Resolution 2026-04 to revive the policies and procedures for processing applications for the Beaufort County 3% local accommodation tax funds and 2% hospitality tax funds.
Moved, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Councilman Cunningham?
Second that.
And Councilman Brown, second. Any discussion? Yes, sir. Councilman Passman.
Why would we want to go backwards? This is taking us
Joe,
back.
do you lean into the microphone a little bit?
I said, why would we want to go backwards? Because we are going to now put the burden back on administration.
Press that?
Yeah.
What I understand from the directives that I received is that we would like more county departments to be able to apply for these grants so we can fund our own infrastructure needs. This was discussed at a couple of finance committee meetings ago. Would you like to
Any
add
other comments?
Yeah, I'll comment.
Councilman
If you
Cameron?
remember, I brought up at Finance Committee meeting that we are literally the only entity that sends their ATAX money out in grants all the way. Hilton Head keeps it, Bluffton keeps it, Port Royal, Beaufort City, and we have needs that we have to address, and we don't have funds, and we can use ATAX funds for certain things. They have to meet the code, but we can certainly do that. And in the past, I am told that county has put in applications for state A-tax money, and the committee has said, nope, we're not interested, don't bother coming back. We've already talked about that. We've talked about that at our meetings, and it was a committee just said, nope, go live your life and don't come back with something. So this puts it on the hands of our administrator and Pinky. And remember, whatever they recommend has to be approved by council. So if it comes to council and we don't like some of it, we say no. It's not a done deal. This just puts it back so that we can get some county funds here. Mr. McKellen's in there.
Oh, yes, Councilman McKellen.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll be brief. We have a transparent operation at the moment.
Just recall, we have not seated this committee yet. So it's not a committee yet. We haven't.
I think that's state A-tax.
State is seated, yeah.
Does that clarify it for you, Councilman McKellen? That's the state.
I'm not sure what the clarification was.
Ms. Harriet?
The committee you currently have is state A-tax.
State,
This
right.
is local A&H tax.
Correct.
Okay, Councilman Glover?
Yes, I'm going to vote no on this resolution. I've always liked the involvement of community, and so this takes it away from the community involvement of different players, and it places it in one hand. And I think having input from various communities or committee members and stuff is vital. So I'm going to vote no against this resolution.
Do you have a comment for that?
I was going to say there will be a committee that decides on the awards. It's not in the hands of one person.
Okay, other comments? Yes, Councilman Cunningham?
Yeah, I just want to say that it is in the backup documents that there is going to be a committee. If you look at it, it's the very first thing on there. But it's just giving us the ability to actually disperse those funds. So I support it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Good. No, that was it?
No, I was just going to say this will fund some of the boat landing repairs and ramps that we are trying to fix and when we don't have the funds to fix. So this gives our county departments to be able to apply for grant funds. The old resolution was already on file previously. We're just going back to doing it that way so that our county departments can apply for these funds as they meet the code standard.
Anyone else on council? Yes, Councilman Bartholomew.
So I think it's Exhibit A, Exhibit A down here, number 8 and 9. The administrator or administrator's designee is authorized to add additional guidance in the instructions for applications about appropriate uses of A-tax and H-tax funds. And then 9 is the administrator or administrator's designee is authorized to make amendments to the application, Exhibit A1, award review criteria and scoring sheet, Exhibit A2, and progress report, Exhibit A3, provided here in the samples. Why are we going through and approving these forms if we can just allow a modification to it at the staff level?
These are forms that we created so that it would be more in line with the state A-tax forms.
But that's what I'm saying with the 8 and 9, it gives the staff the ability after we pass this to go back and modify this at any point without council approval.
The forms, not
the forms. Yeah.
We're just attaching the exhibits, because if there's something that comes up that doesn't fit an organization, we don't want to bring it to you to just edit a form, which is under the administrator's purview.
Okay, but
The resolution itself is the policies and the procedures.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, other comments?
We're not
or
changing
questions?
anything in the steps, if that makes any sense.
Mr. Dawson has one.
Call the question.
Okay, we'll call the question.
Few
All right,
words.
we'll do a roll call vote, please. The motion was made by Cunningham and second by Councilman Brown. I know you have that, I just was...
Councilmember Cunningham?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeds?
Yes.
Councilmember Passament?
No.
Councilmember McEllen?
No.
Councilmember Lawson?
Mark Lawson, yes.
Councilmember Glover?
No.
Councilmember Dawson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bartholomew,
No.
Vice Chair Tabernick,
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes.
The motion passes 7-4.
Okay, thank you. Our last item was added on as an amendment. This was would be number 15.
Yes.
And I'll ask Councilman Passman to,
Yes, I'll make the motion again.
yes.
I move that the county council execute a letter of engagement to the law firm Howell, Gibson and Hughes, PA, to provide legal representation and advisory services in connection with matters presented to or before county council, and that the point of contact will be the chair of county council.
Do we have a second?
I seconded that earlier.
Oh, you seconded earlier. Okay, that's right. All right, any discussion?
Can we just have clarity of what happened earlier in the meeting then, so we can clear that up?
Can I just?
Yeah, because that was completely different than what we talked about.
This is the motion as it is. So,
Where did that language come from to interject that?
That was not the language we had when we left the room.
Yeah, no, not even in the slightest.
well, this is.
This is exactly.
Yeah, that was, but your original about adding the county attorney into it, because
No, I didn't say anything about the county attorney.
That was an amendment that we talked about, and if I could just make some comments. The reason I suggested that to the chair was that we've had long-standing engagement with Howell, Gibson, and Hughes over the years, and they represent us on several matters. Tab Bendel, one of their lawyers, Thomas Bendel, does most of our real estate law and does representation for our tax sale issues and cases under the treasurer. Robert A. Church does some insurance defense work for us. In fact, he's represented us in that wrongful death case where Sears is suing. They were our disaster relief provider, and they had the trailer that fell off and then killed the individual when the trailer separated. They're defendant on this. So we have several cases where we're involved and we relate with them all the time. So I talk with them on a regular basis on our cases.
This motion is council-related business that, and that's what this motion is.
I just want to make sure that it doesn't preclude us from contacting us on regular county business where we have interactions with them.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And this is just related to where you feel the need for
Yeah.
the outside legal advice
Right.
generated by communications with the chair to where it's representing solely council.
Just solely council.
That's what I needed to make clear. I didn't want any obstacles in the representation that we
Okay,
currently
is that,
seek.
okay, Councilman Cunningham?
Yeah, I guess 5 minutes passed from the end of that meeting to that motion, though. So I'm just trying to figure out how that conversation from us leaving that room to coming here, where it even happened. This is part of the problem of why I have nothing against you or Mr. Moore or anything like that, but it's part of the problem we even are getting a council is because that conversation happened within 5 minutes of leaving that room to even it be a topic and a recommendation to suggest it. So from us ending that last meeting to us taking a 5-minute recess, a conversation happened where that could be an option that we should put that language in there.
It's cleared up now. I think we need to go ahead and vote.
I like the
Chairwoman.
question, please.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, if we're just calling the vote because we don't want to air dirty laundry, I will vote no then. But
There's no dirty laundry.
it is that a procedure happened.
I do not appreciate that remark at all.
I apologize. I don't mean in a disrespectful way, but something clearly happened from leaving that room to now. A conversation where the rest of us were in there having a conversation, all 11 of us, but then somebody else had a conversation to bring it up on the agenda. If nobody was paying attention to that, it would have been put right into the motion.
No, it occurred in here.
The language is not in, the language is clear. Joe makes it clear that we're dealing with the chair. End of.
I'll explain to you as soon as we're done.
Logan, I understand what you're saying, but that's not the motion.
Motion is what was read by Councilman Passman. Do we need a roll? We can have a roll call.
One more point of discussion. I give Councilman Cunningham courage and credit for bringing this up. I don't know of anybody that was talked to about whatever that language was that in. I think this is a perfect place to talk about this, and nobody should be offended by it. What we should be offended by is how it happened. And why do we continue to do that? We all talk about getting a better reputation. And within minutes, we got two people knowing something that's going to go into a motion on this level. I'm telling you right now, it's shocking to me.
Okay, I want to say something. I was not in that, but you're right. It was not in the motion when we talked in there. I think it was misunderstood what Mr. Hulbert talked about, and he has now cleared it up. He is not going to be involved in county council interactions with that firm. I think it was misunderstood, and so, but I don't know. We didn't talk about it in there, is right.
When they came out and they announced that there's going to be a vote on the council, I asked the clerk of the council who the firm was, and they said that. And then she said that there was a caveat that only the chair would have the communications with the firm. And that's when I says, all right, to the chair, that we have a lot of business with the law firm. There's times where the county attorney and the administrator need to communicate with them because they do our real estate, our tax sale law, insurance defense, things like that. So there should be part of the discussion as far as we need to have access to them. And do you really want everything to go through the chair every time we get a real estate deal or a tax sale or an issue with the treasurer related to the tax sale or foreclosure or anything like that? I couldn't imagine that was the case. That's why I raised it with the chair as far as to consider that.
I'm going to read this part of this. We did talk in there about the advance waiver of conflicts. This would be council business with our attorneys. If you have business with zoning or whatever else, you have the privilege to do whatever.
That's what I need to make clear.
Outside the purview of this letter of engagement.
That was the sole reason for my communication with the chair before you took that vote.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, I will apologize. I don't mean in a disrespectful way towards you. I'm just saying that's the way this conversation should have happened, is right here after I got put on. That's where we should have had that conversation openly in front of everyone. So that's why I say the words of dirty laundry, I apologize, but...
I appreciate your words. Can we go ahead and vote? Well, go ahead. Do you have something else to say?
No, ma'am.
Councilman Reese, do you have something else to say before we take a vote on this motion?
I think enough has been said, and I think that people understand what we need to do. So I appreciate you asking me again.
All right. Do we need a roll call vote?
No, just...
All right. All in favor by sign of hands? All right. None opposed? It is unanimous. We are adjourned. Thank you.
I don't know, you tell me.